In this video, we're going to discuss veteran project data entry and really reference SSVF and GPD projects. So veteran-funded projects are as follows: supportive services for veteran families, or SSVF, which has two component types around rapid rehousing and homelessness prevention. There must be one project set up in HMIS for each project type. And then we have grant per diem, or GPD projects, which promotes development and provision of supportive housing. It usually lasts up to 24 months and or for supportive services for veterans and veteran families. Just like other grant types and funding types, there are components, and each component is associated with a project type. And so the components for SSVF and HCHV and GPD are listed below. And then the project types associated with those components are also listed. Veteran status determination. There are specific definitions between the projects for veteran status determination. SSVF and GPD grantees can serve clients who have only had service time in basic training. But please be aware that the HMIS definition of veteran status requires a day of active duty beyond that training. But this is not a requirement for SSVF and GPD program eligibility. For HMIS purposes, a veteran status should be yes for anyone who has ever been on active duty in the armed forces of the United States, regardless of discharge status or length of service. Active duty is a specific designation for members of different areas of the military. Connection to SOAR is a data set that is required for veteran services, specifically for SSVF projects. It's intended to determine if a client has been connected to a SOAR program, regardless of whether that connection was established by the VA provider or not. It can change during the client's involvement with the VA program and should be updated accordingly. This data set is optional for GPD funded projects. Last grade completed is a data set required for SSVF projects only. It's for rapid and homelessness prevention. You must enter the last date or last grade completed by the head of household and any adult within the household or unaccompanied youth. Employment status: you must enter the status of the head of household or any adults within the household, including the type of employment for those employed and reason for not being employed. Record the status once at project start and once at project exit. You must enter the date that the information was collected from the client or which the information is relevant. This element is required for SSVF and GPD projects. There are specific definitions to the employment status categories below. For full-time, part-time, seasonal, or sporadic, looking for work, unable to work, or not looking for work. So please familiarize yourself with the definitions included to help assist clients in answering the question. There is a veteran information sub-assessment. It helps to record a veteran's information for all veterans served. It's required for SSVF, all GPD, and HCHV projects. When you add a veteran sub-assessment, you must answer the following questions: the year they entered a specific military service and the year they were separated from that military service. You must record the year they entered and separated for the last period of service or the period of service with the most favorable discharge status for eligibility purposes. You must record the branch of the military in which the veteran served for the longest period of time and record the veteran's discharge status. For veterans with multiple discharges under different condition, record the best discharge status for that individual. There's also a data set for SSVF eligibility determination, which is the percentage of AMI. Record the household income as the percentage of area median income and select the category based on the SSVF income eligibility calculation. Households with income greater than 50% of AMI are ineligible for SSVF. VA-MC station number is a data element that you must enter. It's required for SSVF and HP and GPD, as well as HCHV projects. You must enter the VA medical center or station number that corresponds with the grantee's service location. The service number requires no input from the client. HP targeting criteria. The element is required for SSVF funded homelessness prevention projects only. You must enter the results of SSVF homelessness prevention at stage 2. It's a targeting criteria screening that's used at project entry for all heads of household. The HMIS data manual provides full descriptions of each criteria and their selections. So utilize this link here to access that manual. This is what the HP targeting criteria questions look like within HMIS. It's a very long list that will auto-populate if you answer, is the homeless prevention targeting screener required? SSVF services provided. So you must record each service on the date it's provided. These services should be attached to the head of household records. You do not need to duplicate records of a single service for each additional household member. This element is required for SSVF rapid rehousing and homelessness prevention projects, and it's also optional for all other VA projects. HMIS data entry for service transactions for SSVF and VA programs. You must navigate to the service transaction tab within a client file and click add a service. Once you add a service, you'll see the option for checking additional household members, the service transaction start date and end date, and then the service type must be answered, and you click save and continue. When you save and continue, you will get additional information that auto-populates for service transactions. And there's a section for SSVF specific specifications that you must answer the type of service provided for SSVF. And services should be attached to the head of household record primarily. SSVF financial assistance is also tracked through service transactions. You must record each instance of financial assistance, including the amount provided. There should be a separate record of financial assistance for each check that's cut, and the date of financial assistance should be the date that the check is cut at your agency. If a check is returned or not cashed, you must delete the record in HMIS. The services that are tracked for financial assistance are listed below, and those are the only services you track in HMIS. There is a section for follow-up information. Follow-ups are for your own tracking purposes when a service doesn't end on the same day it starts. If you set a follow-up date for a service or any other item in service point, the follow-up will show as a reminder on your homepage dashboard. The need information is required to identify whether a service transaction is in progress or closed, and if the outcome of the need was fully met. If the outcome was not met, you must put a reason. Here's a list of VA resources for data collection and purposes. All of these links below will be helpful in assisting you to complete your VA data options for all clients you serve.